Welcome back to the Bitcoin Traveler. I'm here to explore the latest developments in the cryptocurrency world. Today, we're diving into a recent discussion that sheds light on the driving forces behind crypto innovation, focusing on projects like how long will this crypto cycle last? Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think is fueling the next wave of crypto innovation?
So the other thing that I'm thinking about is, okay, and everybody wants to know, none of us know, we don't have a crystal ball, when this cycle peaks. And a lot of people have PTSD from 2021 because the business cycle and liquidity peaked in March. Why? Because 2020 was that massive fall in the business cycle, massive stimulus. It was just a completely squashed cycle. Now, if I look at it, if I look at the business cycle, the ISM survey still below 50. We've barely started going up. So it feels that the probability is this cycle plays into the end of the year or even into Q1 2026. And that's a tail risk. I think the market's going to struggle with this. If I'm right, people are going to get out of risk too early and they're going to be forced back in at the end. And you get that 2017 final explosion. That's kind of my working hypothesis now.
Yeah, and I mean, look, one of the things that we're also tracking that I don't think gets a lot of airtime is the credit cycle. I mean, the banks are actually highly incentivized and positioned to start lending pretty dramatically. This should continue to be a tailwind of the business cycle, as you're describing. And I do think, the PTSD certainly in crypto is warranted to some extent. But it's just such a structurally different environment, right? You have, the Fed funds rates still close to 5%. Real rates are still incredibly restrictive. They got a lot of room that could potentially cut. If you saw the CPI print recently, this implies PCE has been targeting towards 2% for almost 6 months now. Anything can happen, but the trend is clearly lower. You'll have these kind of idiosyncratic spikes in CPI and PPI. But ultimately, the Fed is actually tracking towards their 2% inflation target. And with the boomer of the NFP print that we saw, a couple of weeks ago, granted, we will, of course, see this modified over time. It feels like the Fed still has the ability to cut. And so if you take looking at like the credit cycle, the business cycle, peaking in March just seems low probability. And I do agree with you. I think people are actually underexposed to the right tail at this point of a massive economic boom. I mean, if you see what's even happening geopolitically in the Middle East, you see Saudi Arabia, I think there were something along the lines of a $600 billion investment in the United States. People are coming to the table, with gifts for the president, effectively saying like, we want to be part of this larger economic boom. I struggle to see a situation where somehow this is done in Q1 of this year.
In terms of duration, the speakers reference historical data indicating that Bitcoin's bull markets have typically lasted between 12 to 18 months following a halving event. However, they caution that as the market evolves, these time frames may shift, and investors should remain vigilant and adaptable to changing market dynamics. Overall, the discussion underscores the importance of understanding Bitcoin's cyclical behavior and the various factors that can influence the length and characteristics of each cycle.
And also, core inflation is driven by rents.
Mm-hmm.
Rents are deflating. The
I just saw
forward-looking
that,
stuff
yep.
is now negative, but rents are also a function of mortgage rates. So as rates come down, that core comes down. So I think the Fed had much more cover than people understand. Again, people have PTSD from last time. They stick up the chart of inflation versus the 70s and say, see, this is going to happen all over again. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even close.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if you look at equities as well, I think the most bearish case that I've seen from any of the investment banks, sell-side research teams at this point is valuations. And I don't even think they're that stretched at this point. But more importantly, I mean, yes, Mag 7 has continued to really outperform. We're starting to see signs of breadth improving.
So, how long do you think this cycle will last? Will history repeat itself with an 18-month bull run? Or are we entering a new era of extended market growth? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you found this episode valuable, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights into Bitcoin, crypto cycles, and investing strategies. Until next time, stay informed and navigate the crypto seas wisely.